In my previous video, I recommended that you use just one Lightroom preset for the post-production of your images, whether you're processing them yourself or you're working with a company like Photographer's Edit. It, of course, increases the efficiency of your workflow. It also improves the consistency of the final product that you deliver to your clients. So some significant benefits. But you may argue, well, one Lightroom preset, how is that going to work effectively across images from a wider variety of lighting scenarios or from different camera bodies? And you would have a good point. But what I also promised in the last video is that I would show you how you can update your favorite Lightroom preset so that it can be used across a wide variety of lighting scenarios and even different camera bodies. So let's dive into this workflow. And actually, before you do, go ahead and make sure that you do have a favorite Lightroom preset picked out and that you have a hard copy of that preset somewhere else on your computer or an external hard drive, because we are going to update the preset in this workflow. Step number one of the workflow is to grab the images. So you want to grab images from a wide variety of lighting scenarios, different camera bodies, if you use different camera bodies in your company, and find 20, 30, maybe 40 at the most, import all those into, or put them all into one folder. You can title that folder Lightroom Preset Test, maybe give it a date, and then import that folder of images into Lightroom. Okay, step number one, simple enough, grab the images. Step number two, you are going to scan and paint. Go ahead and scan through the images, get a good idea of what these images look like prior to applying your preset, and then you're going to paint that preset on all the images. In the library module in Lightroom, kind of toward the bottom, you'll notice a little paint can icon. You're going to click on that. Next to that, there's a drop down, choose settings, and then next to that drop down, you're going to choose your favorite Lightroom preset. Select all the images, Command A on a Mac, that's the keyboard shortcut, Command A, or on a Windows computer, Control A to select all the images. And then with that little paint can, you're going to just click on one of the thumbnails of the images, and that preset will apply to all the images. So that's step number two, scan and paint. Step number three is you're going to look for improvements. You're going to go ahead and scroll through those images and look and see how that preset worked on these images across the different camera bodies and or lighting scenarios, and begin to make notes about how you can improve the preset for individual scenarios. So for example, this preset may work really well on outdoor images that are exposed correctly. But if you jump to that indoor image that was just a bit underexposed and maybe shot in incandescent light, the preset is not as effective. Play with the settings, the sliders in the Develop module on the right-hand side in the panels. Play with the settings, figure out how this preset could be tweaked. Not anything too significant an adjustment, but figure out what needs to be tweaked in order to make this preset a bit more effective for an indoor image, for example. And you're going to do this, repeat this process with the whole batch of images. Make note of the potential changes, find the common denominators. And then step number four, you're going to update with current settings. So what that means, still in the Develop module, is that you're going to go over to the left-hand side under Presets, find that preset that you already applied to the images, and then right-click on that. You'll see an option that says Update with Current Settings. Go ahead and click on that. It's going to pull up a dialog box. This is where you're going to save the settings applicable to this preset. Now, you're going to save two settings, and they may be one and the same at some point. But A, of course, you're going to save, you're going to check the options that are settings you adjusted, that you tweaked. But then B, and this is just as important, you need to make sure that the settings applicable to this preset to begin with are also checked. So you may have to go back and just look at what that preset does to your images when you apply it. Those settings also need to be checked. You don't want to leave out any of those settings or leave out saving any of those settings. Okay, so save the settings you've adjusted. Make sure, of course, that you have the settings applicable to that preset saved as well. And then go ahead and save those changes or update those settings. And that is step number four. Step number five, you're now going to apply the new preset. So go ahead and delete that folder. Go back to the library module, delete that folder of images from Lightroom, and then apply, well, actually, before you apply the preset, re-import that folder of images into Lightroom, and then apply that updated preset to the batch of images. And then you're going to repeat the process. You're going to scan through, make sure that that preset worked effectively across the variety of images. Now keep in mind, we're not looking for perfection. You will never, ever have a preset that is perfect all the time. It's just not realistic. What we're looking for is a preset that most effectively represents your processing style and works effectively across a wide variety of images, and assuming that you photographed that image well, you exposed it well, the white balance is accurate, this preset ideally has prepped that image for export to JPEG. That's the end goal. That's the ideal goal. But you want to apply the new preset, see if it's effective. If not, you may have to repeat that process of making slight tweaks, adjustments to the settings, updating it yet again, and then reapplying it to see if it works on that batch of images yet again. You're going to repeat this process until you've got a preset that works well, again, not perfect, but works well across a wide variety of images. This is going to be your go-to preset. This is your baseline finish that you can use for both your own post-production as well as working with a company like Photographers Edit. Ultimately, you'll have a much more efficient workflow and a much more consistent final product.